NBA and Knicks insider Ian Begley posted an article last night regarding the Knicks' offensive struggles to start off the season, and we're here to break it all down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from the Knicks Digest, and before we move on to today's video, I want to remind you guys that 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So yes, that more than likely means you who are watching this video right now is not subscribed to the channel. So whatever you do, stop what you're doing, smash that subscribe button, and get the Knicks Digest YouTube subscription number. Get it up, Knicks Digest. We're going to the moon, baby. Ian Begley late last night posted an article regarding the Knicks' offensive struggles, and the name of the article, Knicks looking for rhythm, spacing to get out of early season offensive funk. Within this article, we got quotes from Julius Randle, we got quotes from Emmanuel Quickly, we also got quotes from Coach Tibbs. Now, before we get into the article, as far as a Knicks fan, and I think I speak for a lot of Knicks fans, to start off the season, it just seems like the offensive is very stagnant. Everything feels forced, and it seems like it's very difficult to put the ball in the rim. And there are times where there aren't a lot of playmaking players on the floor. Last night, there was a point where Emmanuel Quickly was the only one that was able to create plays off the dribble for himself or for other players. Jalen Brunson is another one, but for the first 5 games of the season, especially him and Randle, they're starting off really tough to start off the season. Speaking of Julius Randle, who is one of the franchise players for the New York Knicks, he is starting off the season, the first 5 games, shooting 27% from the field. Now, the blame is not all on Julius Randle. We can also look at Jalen Brunson, who last season had a really good year, but to start off this season, it seems like he's struggling. He's shooting 38% from the field. In the article, Julius Randle himself gives a reason as to why he's starting off to such a rough start. In the article, Randle says spacing. Everything is just pretty packed in. We're working really hard for everything. We're just looking at a lot of bodies out there whenever we're catching the ball. So we've just got to figure it out to open it up a little bit. Now, it's only been 5 games into the season, but last season the Knicks finished 3rd in offensive rating. And a large part of that, it just seemed like the chemistry between the starting 5 was a little bit more cohesive. We're returning the same starting 5, but for some reason, to start off this season, it's just a little bit more difficult. You got Mitchell Robinson, Quentin Grimes, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett. RJ didn't play last night. He had a sore left knee, but going into last night's game, they were actually 27th in offensive efficiency. Now, if we compare that to last season where they were 3rd in offensive rating compared to now the 27th, again, only 5 games, but things have to turn around for this season in order for the Knicks to have a positive outlook. And if you are one of the Knicks fans that follow the Knicks Digest YouTube channel, you saw that Chris and we did a reaction video last night to the Knicks losing to the Cavs. And within that video, we brought up one important question. We understand that the players are the ones that are on the court. The players are the ones that actually put the plays into motion. Whatever the coaches draw, the players have to do it. But when is someone going to point the finger at Coach Tibbs? Chris and we were going back and forth as far as like Coach Tibbs hiring as a New York Knicks. Prior to the New York Knicks, he was with Minnesota. Prior to Minnesota, he was with Chicago, where he had a lot of success. And prior to Chicago, he was one of Doc Rivers' assistant, and I believe he was the head of the defensive part for the Boston Celtics. Throughout Coach Tibbs' whole NBA coach tenure, we've always heard about how Coach Tibbs is a defensive-minded coach. He's a brilliant defensive-minded coach. We've never heard Coach Tibbs being praised for his offensive prowess as a coach. And Chris last night was bringing up a point as to if Coach Tibbs knows that offense might not be his strong suit as part of his coaching resume, he should find an elite assistant coach that's going to focus on the offensive end of the floor in order to space it out, in order just to make things a little bit more easier. And in the article, we also get a quote from Coach Tibbs as to his reasoning as to why the season has started off so rough. Coach Tibbs himself says, it's just a rhythm thing. We're not getting anything easy. I feel like we're just working hard for everything right now. So we've got to find a way to try to make the game a little bit easier for each other. Now, after reading that, to me, that sounds like a lot of nothing. What I wanted to hear him to get into a little bit more specifics. But again, it's only 5 games into the season. The more games they play, the more they'll find out what they have within the roster. Now, as far as the offensive struggles that the Knicks have started off with, it seems like one player that's not worried about it, which actually is one of the bright spots of this season so far. Emmanuel Quickly talking about specifically Julius Randle's struggle to start off the season. I don't doubt Julius at all. If you look at what he's done since he's been here, 2 All-NBAs, 2 All-Stars, nearly 60 points in a game, He works. He's probably one of the hardest workers I've ever been around. So I'm sure he'll bounce back. Again, I have to keep reiterating, it's only 5 games into the season out of an 82-game season. We know it's a marathon and not a sprint. But to start off the first 5 games, Julius Randle shooting 27% from the field, and Jalen Brunson 38% from the field. It's looking a little grim. Hopefully they start turning it around. But before I end the video, I did want to give my personal take as to why I think the Knicks offense has started off to a rough start. So going into last season, we had Jalen Brunson coming to the Knicks, signing the 4-year, $104 million contract. I feel like a lot of the NBA noise regarding Jalen Brunson was more about his contract, more so than what can he contribute to the team. Prior to coming to the Knicks, he was playing for the Dallas Mavericks, and where they lost in the Western Conference Finals to Golden State Warriors in 5 games. And in the first round of last season's playoffs, where they were going up against the Utah Jazz, Luka Doncic was actually injured, and I believe he missed 2 games. So the starting point guard position went to Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson in that position, he shined. In Luka Doncic's absence, Jalen Brunson signed. But a lot of the critics were saying how, yeah, Jalen Brunson played great, but it was only a 2-game stint. How is he going to be able to play when he's a full-time starter? How is he going to be able to play when the team is really on his back? And last season, he answered those questions immensely, leading the Knicks to the second round of the playoffs, only to lose in 6 to the Miami Heat. But going into this season, I just feel like teams are a little bit more prepared for the New York Knicks. They're kind of going into this season, I guess you can say, taking the Knicks maybe a little bit more seriously. In another video I did, talking about the Eastern Conference, to me personally, I got the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks at the 1-2 of the Eastern Conference. But everything after that, I just feel like there are a bunch of teams that fall in the second tier. We got Miami, we got Cleveland, we got the Knicks, we got a whole bunch of teams, Philadelphia, we got a whole bunch of teams in the second tier. But I feel like the Knicks are the strongest candidate to be at the head of the second tier. So that is why teams are taking the Knicks a little bit more seriously. So the scouting is a little bit more intense. There's a little bit more information on the scouting report regarding each player. So that's just my opinion. Hopefully the Knicks start turning it around. Tomorrow we got the first in-season tournament game against the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, I know going up against Giannis is never a good thing. Hopefully we start to see the chemistry of the starting 5 coming back together like it did last season. Hopefully we start to see more offensive prowess from the team, where it just doesn't seem like everything is so stagnant and everything is so difficult. Hopefully we start to see that a little bit more. But again, I want to say thank you guys for checking out this video. And one last time before I sign off, remember, you guys gotta smash that subscribe button. Get the Knicks Digest YouTube channel subscription number. Get it all the way up. So until next time, guys, I'll check you guys out in the next video. Peace.